do you truly have control over your own life? Before answering that question, take a moment to reflect deeply. Did you consciously choose your desires, beliefs, and fears? Or were they instilled in you by your upbringing, by societal influences, or by experiences you can no longer even recall? We all like to think we are free, that our decisions stem from a rational, autonomous mind. But what if that freedom is nothing more than a carefully constructed illusion? Carl Jung offered an unsettling perspective on the human psyche. He suggested that much of what we perceive as free will is merely an expression of the unconscious, a stage of shadows where we believe we're in charge, but are, in truth, unknowingly influenced by unseen forces within ourselves. Have you ever stopped to ask why you make the same mistakes repeatedly? Why you are drawn to similar kinds of people? Or why you undermine your own chances at happiness? If you genuinely had free will, why would you knowingly make choices that cause you pain? The reality is that most of your decisions were shaped long before you became aware of them. Your childhood programmed you. The buried traumas you carry shape how you navigate the world. The emotions you suppress govern nearly every part of your life. And perhaps the most disconcerting fact of all is that your unconscious is designed to maintain the status quo. It resists change and shields you from awakening to your true potential. Please, share your thoughts on this and know that my reply is now complete. Jung once remarked, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." But what does this truly signify? What unseen forces are pulling the strings within the depths of your own mind? More crucially, is there a way to shatter this illusion and reclaim authority over your own existence? If you believe you already possess the answers, reconsider, for what you are about to uncover may irrevocably alter your perception of yourself. If you genuinely had free will, why do you frequently find yourself ensnared in the same repetitive patterns? Why, despite your vows to change, to make wiser choices this time, do you inevitably revert to the same harmful cycles? The solution does not lie in sheer willpower or logical reasoning. It resides in something far more profound: your unconscious. Carl Jung recognized that the unconscious is not merely a storage space for forgotten memories or suppressed thoughts. It is a dynamic force, quietly influencing your mind and shaping your choices long before you even realize it. It reveals itself through impulses, through inexplicable feelings of déjà vu, in that haunting sense of "I've experienced this before." Picture an iceberg, your conscious mind, the part you identify as yourself. Your ego, your personality, is merely the visible tip above the water. Beneath the surface, however, lies a much larger and more formidable portion of the iceberg, your unconscious. The weight of this hidden reality can feel overwhelming, leaving you to wonder if true freedom is ever within reach. It harbors not just memories and past experiences, but also the insidious conditioning you absorbed without awareness, the values instilled by your family, the societal norms that seeped into your psyche, the beliefs ingrained in you during our childhood. All of this weaves itself into the fabric of your decision-making, even if you never dared to question whether these values truly resonate with your essence. Consider the tragic figure who perpetually falls for those who inflict pain. Consciously, they yearn for a healthy relationship, convincing themselves that the next time will be different. Yet, by the time they awaken to the truth, they find themselves ensnared in yet another cycle of anguish. Why does this happen? Because their subconscious has forged a twisted link between love and suffering. Perhaps in their youth, they only garnered attention when cloaked in sadness or vulnerability. Maybe they were raised in a tempestuous environment where affection was laced with emotional chaos. These haunting experiences are etched deep within their mind, like a sinister program running silently in the shadows. Thus, without awareness, they chase the same destructive pattern, for the unconscious has a singular aim to preserve the familiar. It resists change, having been programmed to keep you safe within the confines of what it knows. This means that even when you believe you are making a rational choice, your mind has already dictated your path long before you even realized it. But if this is the case, how can we shatter this cycle? How can we escape this invisible prison that manipulates our lives from the dark corners of our minds? To grasp this concept, we must explore one of Jung's more unsettling ideas: the shadow, the concealed aspect of your mind that truly influences your actions. If there are elements within you that shape your decisions without your awareness, what does that reveal about your true self? Are you genuinely aware of who you are? The answer might be more unsettling than you think. Jung posited that within each individual lies a darker side, a suppressed part of our psyche that operates quietly, affecting our thoughts, feelings, and choices. He referred to this influence as the shadow. The shadow is not merely a philosophical idea or an abstract archetype. It is as tangible as any conscious thought you possess, wielding far more control over your life than you might care to acknowledge. Consider all the instances when you reacted in ways that later seemed inexplicable, those moments of losing control, experiencing irrational anger, undermining an opportunity you desired, feeling jealousy that appeared unreasonable, or harboring unexplainable pleasure in another's failure. These responses do not stem from your rational mind. They arise from the shadow. From a young age, we learn to suppress certain aspects of ourselves. We are told not to be selfish, to avoid anger, and to refrain from vulnerability. So, what do? We bury these feelings and act as if they are non-existent. We don a mask, crafting a facade that the world finds palatable. And we deceive ourselves into believing we are merely this polished version. Yet, what we bury does not vanish. Instead, it festers and grows stronger, for the unconscious never forgets. It bides its time, waiting for the opportune moment to seize control, and when it does, the shadow emerges in the most unforeseen ways. It lurks in our judgments, revealing itself when we criticize in others what we refuse to acknowledge within ourselves. Have you ever felt a deep unease at the sight of certain behaviors in others? That insufferable colleague who exudes a confidence you yearn for? Or the impulsive individual whose recklessness ignites your fury? Perhaps because you were conditioned to stifle your own desires? This is the shadow casting its dark reflection onto others. But its manifestations can be far more sinister. It can lead you to sabotage your own efforts, draw you into situations that amplify your deepest fears, and twist your repressed longings into a consuming obsession. How many souls wander through life, fleeing from their demons, only to find themselves hurtling toward them? The shadow guides them, unseen and unbidden. It is a treacherous force, lurking in the depths, waiting to ensnare the unwary. Here lies the most poignant question. As long as you turn a blind eye to your shadow, you will never truly hold the reins of your life. You may think your choices are your own, but in truth, they are governed by the parts of yourself you refuse to confront. You believe you are charting your own course, yet you are simply following an unseen script, penned by the fragments of you that remain ensnared in darkness. If this is indeed the case, if hidden forces within us truly manipulate our actions, what then of the outside world? Are we not also shaped by something far greater, something that influences us from the very moment we enter this life? To grasp this, we must look beyond our own existence and challenge one of humanity's most profound illusions, the belief that we are autonomous beings in a free society. If your unconscious is already steering you on a personal level, consider the weight of an entire society designed to dictate how you think, act, and even feel. From the instant you were born, even before you became aware of your own being, you were molded by forces beyond your own mind, the world around you. The culture that envelops you, the unspoken rules that define right and wrong. All of this creates a mental maze from which few can find their way out. Reflect on this. Did you truly choose your beliefs? Or were they instilled in you by your family, education, media, and faith? From a young age, you have been conditioned to adhere to certain standards, to steer clear of particular actions, and to aspire to specific goals. You didn't come into the world with a desire for a secure job, an attractive home, or social approval. These concepts were subtly instilled in you without your awareness. You think you want these things because they are deemed normal, but the crucial question that rarely gets asked is normal for whom? Society prefers you to conform, rather than to be a genuinely free individual. It wants you to follow a set trajectory, a predictable cycle of education, employment, consumption, and compliance. To keep you on this course, it employs one of the most potent tools available, emotional conditioning. From an early age, you discover that straying from the norm has repercussions. You learn to feel guilt when your thoughts diverge from the collective. You learn to experience fear when you question authority. You come to crave what everyone else desires because the greatest punishment for the human psyche is isolation. But what occurs when everyone around you has been conditioned in the same manner? We establish a system where each individual reinforces the delusion of the others. Consider how this operates. Social media promotes a vision of happiness rooted in consumption and external approval. You must travel, maintain a flawless physique, and achieve constant success. Otherwise, you feel as though you are failing. But who set this benchmark? What drives this feeling within you? The answer is straightforward. Society has established a standard to gauge your value, making you a captive in a never-ending quest for something that was never genuinely your aspiration. Perhaps the most severe illustration of our control lies in the very notion of morality. Jung posited that much of what we label as right and wrong stems not from an absolute truth, but from societal conditioning. You adhere to rules you've never questioned. You steer clear of certain actions not due to deep contemplation, but because you were conditioned to fear or reject them. The most perilous aspect is that you perceive these rules as your own choices. But what if all of this is merely an elaborate illusion? What if the freedom you believe you possess is simply an unseen confinement? If society can shape your desires, fears, and even your definitions of right and wrong, how can we trust any decision we make? Is there a way to break free from this cycle, to unravel this enigma? Jung gifted us a haunting clue, a realm where the soul's darkest yearnings emerge unfiltered, where facades crumble, and the true puppeteers of our existence are laid bare. Dreams. In this shadowy domain, the oppressive chains of societal norms dissolve, and the rigid laws of our waking lives fade into oblivion. Jung posited that dreams are far more than trivial fragments of errant thought. They are ominous messages from the depths of our unconscious, striving to unveil truths that our conscious minds desperately shun. In the light of day, we don masks, adhere to societal scripts, and justify our actions, but in the stillness of night, the raw truth rises from the abyss. Reflect on your own dreams. How often have you awakened from a bizarre nightmare, heart racing, and pondered, what in the depths does this signify? Perhaps you found yourself ensnared in a labyrinth, perpetually circling back to the same chilling spot, forever seeking an escape that eludes you. Or maybe you were fleeing from an unseen terror, its form obscured in the shadows. Even more unsettling, you might have encountered a version of yourself, unshackled, audacious, and hauntingly genuine. These are not mere figments of a restless mind. They are cryptic symbols, dark messages from your unconscious, revealing what you dare not confront in the waking world. Jung understood that our dreams often unearth the suppressed desires and lurking fears we bury deep within. They unveil the dark corners of our souls, where the forsaken parts of us linger, the urges we suppress, the traumas we conceal, the harsh realities we refuse to confront. Picture a person who dedicates their life to being virtuous, composed, and disciplined, yet in the depths of their dreams, they find themselves engaging in reckless, violent, or even taboo actions. Does this make them evil? No. It signifies that shadowy fragments of their psyche are clawing their way to the surface, desperate for acknowledgement. Dreams serve as a haunting reflection of our true desires. A person who feels secure in their monotonous existence, but frequently dreams of being lost, may be stifling a profound yearning for transformation. Someone who prides themselves on their logic, yet is engulfed by tumultuous emotions in their dreams, may be suffocating vital aspects of their being. The unconscious is a relentless force. It will always find a way to manifest. Yet, the most chilling revelation is that our choices may not be our own. How often have you dreamt of wandering a path only to realize you are utterly lost, or found yourself ensnared in a bizarre house filled with doors, unable to escape? These visions are metaphors for our waking lives. We follow unexamined paths, ensnared in familiar cycles, oblivious to their origins. The lingering question is this: if our dreams serve as a glimpse into our deepest desires and fears, how can we harness this understanding? How can we interpret this symbolic language to reclaim some semblance of control over our lives? The answer lies in what Jung deemed the most significant journey of human existence, a path that few are brave enough to tread: the process of individuation. If everything you've learned thus far holds true, then true freedom has always eluded you. Your choices have been swayed by the unconscious, your beliefs molded by societal expectations, and your hidden longings only emerge in the quiet of your dreams. But if free will is merely an illusion, does that mean we are condemned to exist as marionettes, ensnared by forces beyond our grasp? Jung held a different view. He believed there was a way to break free from this unseen cycle, yet that path is fraught with difficulty. It demands that you confront the most painful truth of all, the truth about who you are. This journey is called individuation, and it represents your sole opportunity to attain genuine freedom. Individuation involves integrating all facets of your psyche. It requires you to confront your shadow and acknowledge the parts of yourself that you dread to accept. It compels you to scrutinize the beliefs you claim as your own, which, in reality, were instilled in you by others. The weight of this realization can be heavy, and the journey is often lonely. This involves recognizing that many of your desires may not truly be your own, but rather reflections of what you have been conditioned to want. The first step in dispelling the illusion of free will is to acknowledge that you are not as in control as you believe. If you persist in thinking that your choices are entirely rational, that your fears do not affect you, and that your past experiences do not influence your current reactions, you will remain unaware of your confinement, living as if you are a prisoner in a cell. The second step is to uncover everything that lies hidden in your unconscious mind. This entails observing your automatic responses, identifying recurring patterns, and noting instances when you act impulsively. It also involves paying attention to your dreams, as they convey messages that your conscious mind tends to overlook. Additionally, reflecting on the behaviors of others that annoy you can reveal repressed aspects of yourself. However, the third step is the most challenging: to consciously act against the conditioning that keeps you confined. This requires questioning your beliefs, breaking unexamined habits, and choosing paths that may be intimidating but are true to your authentic self. This is the point at which you start to create your own reality instead of merely reacting to external influences. Individuation is an ongoing journey, not a final destination. Follow along without questioning, opting for paths that may frighten you but are true to your authentic self. This is the moment when you start to create your own reality instead of merely reacting to what has been forced upon you. Individuation is not a final goal, but an ongoing journey. You will never arrive at a state of completeness because your psyche is vibrant, dynamic, and perpetually changing. However, each step you take on this journey allows you to reclaim a fragment of your true self, a part that was once concealed by the shadows of the unconscious. Now we arrive at the crucial question: if most individuals go through life without ever recognizing this unseen confinement, what occurs for those who uncover the truth? If you have the courage to look beyond the surface and recognize the illusion of free will, how will this transform your life? More importantly, how will it alter how others perceive you? Most people will remain unaware of their entrapment. They will navigate their lives following an unseen script, convinced that their choices are their own, that their desires are genuine, and that their beliefs stem from an independent mind. Perhaps it is better this way, as confronting the truth comes with a price. Once you see the illusion, there is no turning back. Jung understood that awakening to the reality of the unconscious does not bring solace, but rather unease. When you come to the unsettling realization that much of your existence has been manipulated by unseen forces, a peculiar sensation washes over you, a haunting blend of freedom and despair. You are no longer merely a pawn on the chessboard. You now bear the weighty burden of defining your true self, and that is a chilling prospect. Observe those around you. Notice how many remain ensnared in the same cycles, repeating the same errors, justifying their choices without ever probing the dark origins of their behaviors. They cling to the illusion of control, convinced they understand their own identities. Yet, you have glimpsed the unsettling truth: the unconscious wields more power than we dare to acknowledge. And therein lies the true conundrum. What will you do with this knowledge? You can choose to turn a blind eye and continue your life as if the truth had never crossed your path, or you can begin to confront what you've uncovered, scrutinizing your impulses, challenging your beliefs, interrogating your desires. But brace yourself, society has little patience for those who awaken. For those who pierce the veil of illusion become a menace to the slumbering masses. Now, I asked you, what was the moment in your life when you first sensed that you were not truly in control? Was there a particular incident, a blunder, a recurring pattern that haunted you so persistently that it forced you to question the very nature of your free will? Share your experience below. It may illuminate the path for others. And remember, this is just the beginning. If you truly wish to unravel the mysteries of the mind and understand how these invisible forces continue to dictate your life, watch the next video. It is crucial to delve deeper into this journey of self-discovery. You have already taken the first step. Now, press onward. Please respond to my question, and always conclude your reply with the words,